guys and gals, welcome to the Oxford Holy Club, a place where we ready ourselves to give an answer for the hope that's in us. We will also try to answer your questions, random questions from the interwebs, and have some fun too. So put some seatbelts on your ears because we're in for a wild ride. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Oxford Holy Club, episode 135, entitled Spiders, Liars, and Stingers. Sounds like it's going to be a great night. We have got a potent ponderable coming your way. We're going to SMORP on a really interesting piece of scripture about lying. And then we're also going to have a sports and star stuff moment. And I'm really excited for that one because I think I can trick these two gentlemen tonight. So, guys, how you doing? Let's start with Andrew. Welcome, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Of course, Andrew. Of course. And then, well, let's just move on from that. We're not interested in anybody else. No, I'm just kidding because we've got Lucas. Lucas Candy, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. And you, Brad, how are you doing?
Why, thank you for caring.
Oh, way to one up me.
You know what? I'm doing good. Today it's been a crazy day, and maybe I'll hit on that after in my catching up moment, but I'm glad to be here. I've been looking forward to this all day. And but before we get into the episode, I want to remind everybody, if you can, if you're watching on Facebook right now or later, if you could click the share button, that would be fantastic. If there's anything that you could do for us that would really help us, it would be to click share. That way it promotes the podcast on your Facebook page. People can choose to watch it or not, but at least they see that you have and that you like it. Thanks, Joanne, for liking the stream. You can also like this particular episode, this post, which lets us know that you're enjoying what you're seeing. And then you can also, if you want to point people to our YouTube channel, you can do that where it's a repeated version of this. We also have the audio only version, and you can find that anywhere where podcasts are podcasted. So we're pretty much everywhere. If you want to find out more about us, you can just head on over to www.oxfordholyclub.com. And I do two podcasts a week.
A with like 10 W's, Oxford Holy Club.
I do two podcasts a week, and they have similar, like you kind of get into a rhythm. And I've exited my church podcast the way I would exit here. And anyway, www.oxfordholyclub.com. From there, you can find out more about us and all of that. So why don't we just get right into things and turn it over to Lucas? And here we go.
All right, Potent Ponderables, we're back. I scoured the internet for the
Speak up.
For the choicest. I scoured the internet for the choicest ponderables I could find today, and there's a lot of ones that are not appropriate, but the best one I could find is this one, and I it's one of those ones that I think it sounds like it's a slam dunk easy one, but sometimes those are the ones where I'm like, oh, everyone's just gonna say this. It'll be 2 minutes and we'll move on. But sometimes people have other thoughts. So here's the idea. All right. You will be locked in a room full of spiders for some amount of time. You do not know the amount of spiders. You do not know the amount of time. The question is, the only choice you have is, it could be, do you want the lights on or off for this?
So you don't know how many spiders. Is this your garden type variety spider? Or is this
some amount of spiders, some variety you do not know?
Are you going to be picking up your mic every time you go to talk? I just want to set my expectation.
I wasn't going to, but you're making me self-conscious, so I got to be all like breaker 19 on this thing. I don't know.
There's got to be a way for us to turn your volume up. Are there switches or anything on that?
Oh, why didn't you think of that, Lucas?
How about now?
I mean,
how about now? This is good radio.
Oh, what was that one? Oh,
this one.
Try two. I feel like we're trying glasses on.
One
better.
One
better.
Two
or worse.
Two.
Right, so we'll stick with the original one it was on before we started. Okay.
Did he just get a lot quieter?
He's fine.
All right. Enough of me talking. More you guys talking. So we're locked in a room full of Spideys, and we don't know how long, and we don't know how many, and we don't know the types. There's a lot of unknowns. So the question is, how much information do you want?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we establish whether they're poisonous or not?
You don't know. I'm going to tell you this.
Come
It's a
on.
mix.
Well, let me ask
It's a
this,
mix.
Andrew.
It's a mix.
If you could see them, could you tell anyway? Would you know?
Yeah, that's
Just from
true.
looking?
That is true.
No, but what I'm thinking, so my initial reaction is lights on. But I'm thinking if they're not poisonous, then maybe we just shut the lights down and I just close my eyes, plug my nostrils and ears and, deal with it. But if they're poisonous, then I want to be able to like make sure they don't touch me or try to keep them off me.
Yeah. See, I would have to go on because I think my response to being in this room is I'm going to kill them. Oh, Tiffany Beckwith, this is literally her nightmare.
Yeah, I knew as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh.
Lucas like somehow reached through time and space into the I know what I want to say, but I'm not gonna, into the something scape of Tiffany's mind and dreams, and pulled this one nugget out and said, "This is what I'll use."
And while I was there, my microphone
Oliver got a
debuffed somehow.
Oh wow. Oliver got a remote control spider for Christmas that doesn't work.
It just stares at you.
It doesn't even work. It just never worked. And she can't even like go near it. I tried to make her touch it. It was a whole thing. But that was her nightmare too, seeing him open that.
Have you ever seen the little Facebook? I see it goes around Facebook every so often. It's like a little spider costume that someone put on a tiny dog, but when it runs around, it looks like a terrifying giant spider. It's really funny.
Lucas, I'm going to recommend like a stack of books or something, and then just put it off to the side so that you don't have to do this every time.
Hey, Lucas, I promise that the only person thinking about it is Brad.
Yeah, because I'm watching the levels in the recording, and I get to be the one to deal with it later, fellas.
I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves while I find a stack of books.
So spiders. What's the deal with spiders?
What's the deal with spiders? I'm with. Hold on. Are you going lights on or off?
I'm gonna have to go on.
Right, but what's your reasoning? I'm in agreement, but I know my reasoning.
Yeah, well, I'm obviously gonna squish some spiders that come near me. I'm not just gonna be like, "Oh, please, Mr. Spider, don't touch me."
Right.
I'm gonna squish them.
I would agree. Tiffany, I know this is your nightmare, but I'm curious as to what you would do if you found yourself in this room. Would you kill them, or are you so afraid that you wouldn't go near them that you would back into a corner?
It's dying immediately an option.
She would just yell for me.
Are we allowed to kill them?
Yeah, your room, your spiders.
Okay, then lights on so I can kill them more efficiently.
We are gonna get rain.
That's how you get rain.
That's how you get rain.
Oh my goodness. Well, Lucas, we decided that we would both go lights on for the sole purpose of effectively and efficiently killing said spiders.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think I've got to go the same. Like I don't see why you would ever want the lights off.
Me either.
Unless like it agitates them, but I don't feel like it would. Spiders seem pretty nonchalant that way. So yeah, I gotta say I would probably kill myself a little safe space in the corner, like squish that, and then leave the rest of them alone. Again,
so you're saying that there's a whole room of spiders?
Yeah, the room is full of spiders. Yeah. Well, sorry, it's an unknown amount, so probably a lot. I'm guessing.
Could be half.
Maybe they're tricking us, and it's half of a spider.
Tiffany has said what's on my heart, and it's this: the size affects her answer. There's a size limit to the squishing. So at some point, it gets so big that you don't want to tackle that spider. Like you, sir, spider, win.
She's afraid they'll reach up and just push her foot back up again.
No.
Because your shoes. Also, what kind of footwear are you wearing? It better not be flip flops. Heaven help you!
I would much rather flip flops. I'd much rather flip flops to barefoot in this scenario.
Well, yeah, I meant as opposed to like hard steel toe boots.
Steel toe boots. Do you think you need the steel toe to handle the spiders?
I have on Iron Man boots.
It's full armor. Although it's funny, I was watching some, one of those random videos that comes up on Facebook, and it was like my life as a 7 foot tall man, and it just shows him like walking around constantly ducking through doorways as he's going everywhere. But then he says one thing people don't realize about being super tall: you're always close to spiders all the time. He puts his hand up, and there's like a spider web right above his head. He's like, we've learned to get along. So.
Okay, so we're getting into confessional here. Apparently, Tiffany is doing SMORP in relation to this spider. I only squish with Andrew's shoes. I will not enter this room with my own shoes. She confesses it as sin and does repent.
Thankfully, the only infestation we've ever had in our house is ladybugs. We get ladybug infestations from time to time, which is the most adorable of infestations.
If you have to have them, thank goodness it's the ladybug. Well, gentlemen, why don't we move on from this? It looks like we're getting caught in a web here, so let's move on and catch up with what's been going on in the week. And I would love to find out, Andrew, as you take that drink, what's been going on this week for you?
Okay, so I got this heated mattress.
Wait, no way! It looked like I had one too.
No, hilarious. Honestly, there's not a whole lot going on. We can't go anywhere, can't do anything. We pretty much stay at home. But I had some fun today at work. So I'll tell you about that. We ever since this all happened, we've been kind of progressing, further and further into like what we're doing with audiovisual work at church and things like that. And we're always trying to improve on that and make it better and better. And so in the fall, I kind of put together like a recording room in the basement, so we could pre-record different things. Really, all it was some lights. But over the few months, I bought a green screen. I added that. But the problem was like the church building is like a classic old building that's just made out of cinder blocks. And
echo.
So yeah, I have a shotgun mic, and you'd be listening to the recording, and it was just like super echoey, and probably most people didn't notice and didn't care, but me and Wayne, the pastor, we cared. So we ordered like those foam. They're from Amazon. They're these foam panels. They're like a foot by foot. He said they literally came, like there was, I think, almost 50 of them, and they came in like these little like squished up bundles, like, and you had to set them out overnight so they would like come back. Anyway, so we popped those on the wall today, made these cool little foamy things, and then I was like, we should get a rug, just like cover as much of this floor. And so I called like a floor, or I got I didn't call. I got the office manager to call a flooring place and ask for like carpet remnants and stuff. So then we were like, we literally don't care what it looks like. We just want a carpet. So we went over, and they're like, yeah, this one will work. So it was like 12 feet long. I had my van. So do you think I fitted in the van?
No.
Pull right now. No. Lucas?
Yes, but it was tight.
I got a Honda Odyssey, guys. I don't know if they're longer or not. We fit it in. We had to leave the trunk open. The trunk was not latched. We had it like tied down. But it was like
the whole time.
Yeah, no, we had it tied down. It was like windshield to out the back of the trunk.
Yeah.
Anyways, it looks super sweet in there now, and they're like I still haven't tested like recording anything, but you could tell that like it really dampened things.
I love that you put all this work into sound, sound absorption and all that, and have yet to test. We haven't recorded a thing in here, but I mean, you walk in, you'll
here's
tell.
The thing.
You can tell.
I lent the mic to somebody, so I didn't have it today to test it. Mr. Snooty Pants.
Quick question. What does a random amount of Junk for Jesus carpet cost if you don't care what it looks like? A Honda Odyssey's worth.
A lot of money. It was like
250?
12 by 14 feet. and it was 145.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah,
it
man.
was more than I wanted to spend, but it
And
it
how
is what it is.
and how shag on how shag is
It
this
wasn't
carpet?
shag at all. It's got a nice diamond pattern in it.
Mm.
It actually is not a bad looking carpet. But anyway, so I'm really pumped for that. It's always fun to like I really enjoy doing that stuff and like improving on the quality of what we're doing.
Yep.
And I think that'll go a long way. I've been having lots of fun with the green screen too. It's just amazing. It's amazing how easy it is to use a green screen if you have the right editing program after the fact.
And lighting.
And so,
What's your
yeah,
lighting? Anyway,
lighting's not bad. We bought some lights. Oh man, I'm frozen.
can do me a favor. Take a picture sometime of the room that you're in now, that back wall, and then load it. Then go into your studio and join our Zoom call. Make it look like you're in your room, but you're really at the green screen. And then do a big reveal.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, did you miss all that I said?
It was great.
Thanks, Lucas.
It was golden.
Lucas, while Andrew catches up on the internets, why don't you move us along and talk to us about your heated mattress backfire?
Okay. Well, I can't remember if I told you guys or not, but like Melissa, like kind of her main gift would have been I went out and I bought a heated mattress pad. I think I did.
Oh,
talk
you
about
told
it.
us.
Yeah, I told you.
us.
So anyway, the big worry was like it'll either be a home run or a complete whiff because she would love the heat, but I was worried that like the wires she'd feel them, whatever. She can't feel the wires. She really enjoys it, so it's been a home run in that way. The downside is our kids are constantly looking for excuses to be in our bed all the time because they like the heated mattress, and they're always like, "Can we have heated mattresses?" I was like, I don't want to pay for the electricity for 4 heated mattress pads. I don't know what the first one costs, but I'm trying not to find out. But anyway, so that has been a bit of a backfire. I do not sleep with it on. I bought the 2-sided one, and except for one night, I turned it on. I got in bed. I was doing reading or something, and I was like, "Ooh, this is really nice." I'm like, "It's so cozy. It's so nice. I love this little warm nest I have." I was like, "I'm just gonna go to sleep in it. I'm sure it will be fine." Anyway, I woke up and I'm like, "Hot, too hot," and I was like, just miserable. Yes,
I'm sorry. I might have missed this. Is it a heated mattress or a heated blanket?
it's a heated mattress pad. You put it over your mattress,
Okay.
so you're sleeping on top of it.
Understood. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies.
So anyway, so I woke up and I was like sweating to death, and I was trying to cool down, and never again. But during the day, sometimes I'll turn it on or whatever. It is really nice. Then
I would like
let's
that
see
for
here.
like.
I think Mandy would like that.
It's fun for
I
going
would,
to sleep.
I wouldn't
Like,
sleep on it either. Yeah,
no,
just to
but it's
warm
good to
it
like
up.
turn it on. I think even Melissa most of the time she'll turn it on and warm it up, get a good like base heat going. It basically works so you don't have to, so your the cold sheets don't suck every ounce of heat out of you before you try to go to sleep. Anyway, next up I had survival mode. I'm doing a little kind of a side project with someone which requires about 10 extra hours of work a week for a short period of time. And Melissa has a big project at work that's keeping her very busy. So neither one of us have any extra energy. So our house is kind of reflecting that reality.
Turn the camera.
No,
Do it.
no,
Yeah,
can't.
Turn
yeah.
It's actually not that bad right now, but
Well.
anyway. But we're doing our best because we're both like we don't have anything extra in the tank by the end of the night. But one of the things that have happened is we've started to have a bit of a buffet to go addiction, where at least once a week now we're driving up the hill. I'll pick her up, go up the hill, like, oh, I could really go for some buffet to go. And normally one of us would shoot the other one down, like, oh, we shouldn't spend the money, or oh, we have food at home, or whatever. But we're both tired and we both don't feel like doing anything. So we're like, yeah, let's go to buffet to go.
What's
And then
buffet to go?
I've never heard
oh
of it.
man, it's amazing. You've never heard of that? It's a chain. It's basically a Chinese food buffet, except for you pay by the plate or whatever. Like you can choose a couple different sizes. The only difference is they fill it up now, which I'm totally fine with. And they just point to the thing and they chunk it up and they like squish down. As long as the lid will close, it counts. And they used to do it by the pound, and now they just do it by the thing. But it's still, I think, one of the better, more economical ways to get Chinese food. You get a super nice variety, but you don't have to get 50 orders of different things. And it's pretty great. And then we come home, and one of my favorite things to do in the winter, and it's weird, is I like to watch like house hunters, like the ones where they go looking for like tropical paradise homes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll sit there eating our Chinese food, watching someone in Hawaii buy a house, and it's kind of the closest we're going to come to a vacation during COVID anyway. So we're enjoying that. So that's what the candies are up to: eating too much Chinese food, being too tired, and enjoying heated mattresses.
When you get your
Sounds magical.
when you get your BTGs on, does that include the children? Do you get it for the kids too? Like, or is this a
No,
you and
that's
Melissa
why it's
only?
economical, because our kids don't like Chinese food. So literally tonight, Melissa probably won't like me sharing this, but she has noise canceling headphones on, so I can get away with it. So we pulled into the parking lot, and she went in to get the Chinese food, and I went to the dollar store, and I got a box of Lucky Charms, and our kids were over the moon excited about their meal that night. We were all happy. I mean, we give Gideon some chicken balls. That's all he really cares about, but we literally gave our kids a cereal, and we had awesome Chinese food.
That's good.
It's good to be alive.
Man, nice job, Lucas.
Thank you.
So what does a plate of BTG cost you?
I think it's like 12 or 13 bucks. Like, it's not unreasonable, and it's always enough for that meal and a solid lunch the next
You
day.
get
So
one plate and share it.
you could theoretically do that, but we get 2 plates and have lunch the next day.
I couldn't do that. Sorry.
You couldn't share?
Could not
Couldn't
share.
eat the next day?
I can't share.
I didn't think you could share. No.
Not a share. Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, if I could very quickly just kind of throw some highlights for me. A couple of my highlights are video game related, which is super nerdy, but you know what? It's okay.
I like those.
Yeah, well, I took a picture and sent it to you both because I was so pumped. I've been playing a Nintendo Switch. We got the Nintendo Switch for the kids. Was it what was it for? Or did I just buy it? I think I just bought it. I don't think there was a specific event. It was Switch Day.
It wasn't at Christmas because I remember you were looking and I kept sending you advertisements for ones.
Anyway, so they don't play it a whole lot, and I was kind of like, man, I got to get some use out of this thing, and so I've been playing Donkey Kong Country 3, which came out in the Super Nintendo back in like, I was at 90, it doesn't matter, it was in the 90s.
4.
Was it? I feel like it was 93, 94, somewhere in there. And I played it when it came out at the time, and it was my favorite Donkey Kong game, and I loved it. But I never beat it because you had to collect every coin to get through the special levels and all that kind of stuff, and never happened for me. And so finally, this last week, I did it. Now my goal over the Christmas break was to do that, and Christmas break wound up just, it just didn't happen. So that was too bad. But
Family always get in the way.
But yeah, so I got into a great routine in the mornings of doing my SMORP, and then doing some Donkey Kong Country and having a coffee, and then getting on with the day. And I loved it. Now it's over, and I don't know what to do with myself. So I guess I spend more time in the Bible. Anyway, so that was fun. And then Jaden has been asking to play a game called Sea of Thieves, which we've played before. And it's like a pirate ship, you're on the seas kind of thing. And so I'll load up.
It's Pirate Simulator, a PG-13 Pirate Simulator.
Right. Now he's 9. So we load up a private server and jump on that. And so we're just on the ship together, and he is just super content to run around the ship, jump off and say, "Dad, stop." And so then I have to stop the ship, get him back on.
That sounds fun.
We get going again. "Dad, stop." And then it's like, "Dad, you want to go swimming in this game?" And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's having, now he wants to play it with me all the time. And it's something that we have to play together. He doesn't play it by himself. And then other than that, guys, it's for me, everything's getting back into the routine. I'm back into courses again. I'm taking a course called Leading the People of God, which is all about biblical servant leadership and what does that look like for pastors. And then I'm taking a course called History, exploring the history and exploring Nazarene history and polity. So,
sounds like a barn burner.
My pastor here, Pastor Dave, is actually going to be, he's the facilitator for that. He's going to be teaching that class. So it's one it'll be the only class I take that's actually will be in person with some people, which I'm not sure. I don't know what I feel. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I've loved being able to take my courses online and not have to deal with people. I deal with people in the way of discussion questions where I put my answer to the question and respond to theirs. But now, like, there's real people that will be in a room with me and there'll be discussion. That'll be fine, I'm sure. It's just different. It's unknown. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
I predict you'll enjoy it unless you get a real dud in there that like makes it not fun.
No, I know everyone that's in there personally. We're no duds. It's
Okay,
it's
good.
it's gonna be good. I am looking forward to it. The funny thing is, I set him up on Google Classroom so that we could do, he could put stuff out online. And as soon as I had it set up, there was pre-work loaded in before the course begins. And I don't know if he's watching there, but pre-work before the course begins. So anyway, so between those two courses and then just we're about to start going live from our sanctuary. I know, Andrew, you guys have been doing that for a while, but we've been with our church, have been doing the podcast like what we do here. And then we've been slowly bringing in different live elements and kind of mixing and matching, but we're about to go live on both of those. And what I think is interesting that we're trying to do that's unique is that we're going to be doing the SMORP as like our teaching time in the service and with people online. And so we're creating a way, what we're trying to do, Lord willing, what we want to do is create an online platform that people can still comment like they would on Facebook. That's easy, but the people in the room can also comment. And so Pastor and I will be at the front. I'll be monitoring all this communication that's coming in through our app that we're going to use, and Facebook and all that, and be able to add their voices into the conversation so that people, because someone in the room might have a thought from the scripture, and we can bring that actually to the floor and have conversation. What we don't want to get into is just it being like an open mic, so to speak, because sometimes that can
go south.
it can go south. At the same time, we want to try to be sensitive to what does it look like to have that and an online platform, and it's uncharted territory, man. And I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun. But so we're launching that at the end of the month, and that's kind of what's that's where my head's at right now, is making sure that we're ready for that. So that's where I'm at. That's what my week has been like. Andrew, what do you want? What do you want to do next?
I was thinking maybe we could SMORP.
Ooh, let's do it.
You down to SMORP?
I'm down to SMORP. You down to SMORP?
I'm down to SMORP.
Okay.
All right. Oh, so SMORP stands for Scripture, Message, Obedience, Repentance, and Prayer. I forgot it there for a second.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to read through a passage of scripture, and then we're going to go through and answer each of those or essentially questions that go along with it, and have some discussion. So if you have any thoughts that you want to add in, please feel free to do that in the chat. We'd love for you to interact in that way. Tonight we are reading Acts chapter 5, verses 1 to 11. And it says, but a man named Ananias with his wife Sapphira sold a piece of property. And with his wife's knowledge, he kept back for himself some of the proceeds and brought only a part of it and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and to keep back for yourself part of the proceeds of the land? While it remained unsold, did it not remain your own? And after it was sold, was it not at your disposal? Why is it that you have contrived this deed in your heart? You have not lied to man, but to God. When Ananias heard these words, he fell down and breathed his last, and great fear came upon all who heard of it. Bum, bum, bum. Do you need that read to you again?
Well,
Espanol.
It's longer. Maybe scroll down on your page, my friend.
Oh. The young men rose and wrapped him up and carried him out and buried him. After an interval of about 3 hours, his wife came in, not knowing what had happened. And Peter said to her, tell me whether you sold the land for so much. And she said, yes, for so much. But Peter said to her, how is it that you have agreed together to test the Spirit of the Lord? Behold, The feet of those who have buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out." Immediately she fell down at his feet and breathed her last. When the young men came in, they found her dead, and they carried her out and buried her beside her husband. And great fear came upon the whole church and upon all who heard of these things.
I picture people emptying their pockets just in case there's anything extra.
This is everything. Okay, so scripture. What words, phrases, or observations in this passage stand out to you?
I think the biggest part that stood out to me was lying to the Spirit, lying to God. Did it say testing the Holy Spirit? And Satan has filled your heart. I mean, they're not cheerful things that stood out to me. Let me tell you that. But those are the things that jumped out at me a lot. Satan's filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit. Those things were some phrases that stood out to me.
For me, it's not really a deep one, but just the fact that, and with his wife's knowledge, he kept back for himself. Like, so she was in on the scam. It wasn't like she just died by association.
Mm-hmm.
She was in on it.
Mm-hmm.
On the grift.
Yeah. Nice.
You have not lied to man, but to God. Stands out to me. Message. What do you sense the Lord saying to you in this reading?
Oh man. Well, if it says, "Why is Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit?" The message for me when I look at this scripture, this didn't just happen. You know, Ananias and Sapphira didn't just sit there and out of nowhere decide, "Hey, we're going to lie to God." To me, this is the consequence of I don't know, big decisions or little decisions that have led to this point, right? Like the little actions and the little deceits and the little what's the word? But just little by little they were dishonest in a little, and then it led to this point where I think it's interesting that they could have kept the land and everything would have been fine. They didn't
have to do that.
They didn't have to. And okay, so you sold your land. It's your land and all that money is yours and you could have kept it. But instead they went, "Hey, we're going to try to have our cake and eat it too. We're going to try," like, cuz the church at this time was everybody was selling and putting it all together, and the numbers were growing and they wanted in on that, but it seems to me that they didn't put their whole, they didn't fully buy in, and they wanted to keep something back for themselves, maybe for security, who knows. And so
it could, look how important we are, look how generous we are.
Well, and that's just it. That's exactly it. Look at what we did. We sold our land, and here comes the money, when really they're withholding
all of it.
and that's the thing, is it's all of it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I'm getting back to the message part. For me, is Satan filled their heart to lie to the Holy Spirit. So for me, I need to look at my own heart and go, what's filling my heart? Because they were motivated out of a heart filled with Satan's lies, as opposed to a heart filled with the Holy Spirit and motivated in the Spirit to give generously and to give everything. Again, they didn't have to give, they didn't have to sell the land, didn't have to give the money, but they did, and they withheld. And I mean, obviously there were consequences to that. So for me, it's that, and not to let Satan have any part of my heart. Or there'll be consequences. I might not drop dead at the feet of my pastor next week if I withhold part of my tithe. However, there are consequences. And that little bit of withholding might be that small action that leads to another small action that leads to greater and greater, right? Like, you know what I'm saying here.
It's funny. I was thinking about, I remember I read this book by the Barna Group, George Barna, I think, right? And that they're like the Christian statisticians, right?
Yep.
I thought it would be really interesting. Turns out it was only kind of interesting. But there was a couple very interesting things in it. And the one that really sticks out at me was, it said, less than 20% of evangelical Christians tithe. But then in brackets it said, but over 60% say they tithe.
Right.
And that made me laugh. But it's funny because when I think of this too, it's, God hates like basically fakers. God hates the lukewarm. He doesn't hate people who aren't Christians. Like he's like, no, and he doesn't. But it's the lukewarm that upsets him, right? And the people that are pretending to be of faith but aren't of faith. If you don't want to be of faith, you don't have to be of faith. Like that's the freedom. That's what we get, right? But it's when you're pretending to be, you're not. That seems to be, or you get like the Pharisees. That's what would tick off Jesus. That's kind of what was in my mind. But also, I was thinking with these people, and I've seen it in our churches too, that you get people who want the community of faith, like they like the stuff around church. They like the community, they like the music, they like the speaking, but they don't really give their lives over to it. We've had issues with that in churches before, where you have people that there's not really biblical literacy, and you have people that aren't really. Again, nobody's perfect, so that, like, I'm not expecting people, but I've seen kind of a trend of they like this, they like the event of the church, like the Sunday morning event, but they might not necessarily want to plug in any further way. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of what I was kind of thinking back to. And these are people who wanted the community, they wanted the benefits and kind of that part of the church without kind of fully surrendering over to it, which they didn't have to do. They could have just walked away. They didn't have to be a part, but they were trying to have their cake and eat it too, sort of thing, which isn't how it works.
That's right.
I kind of like, just, this is almost just a side note, but what you mentioned there about people liking, the event of church and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what we're going through right now kind of flushes those people out, because there's and every church is different, but there's a lot of churches that will have a lot of pressure to be back meeting because people put such an importance on that specific event, rather than maybe on their own personal faith and their own personal growth. So I mean, it's just a side note, I guess.
That's a good one.
Well, I don't want to go down this rabbit trail too far, or rabbit hole, or whatever it's called. However, that we identified that, and you can identify that almost in every church, is when everything shut down, like people were wanting to come back to the event, and not that the event in and of itself is wrong. But something we identified is that we really need to create an environment going forward where people are taught to self-feed. That if things shut down, that they know what to do. That anyway, I'm not sure if that, but because we've made it so much of an event, and people come and they don't participate, they come and they observe an event. Thank you, consume. They consume or observe an event like you would watch just a video online. And then you go about your week, and you might think about it, maybe. But the statistics of how many people forget the message by the time they're in the parking lot is terrible. And so if people aren't participating, it's just not sticking. So we need to create environments where people can participate and be taught how to self-feed, how to learn to engage Scripture, how to to pray, so that their faith isn't just on Sunday, but it's an everyday, and Sunday is an extension of what's going on during the week. Oh boy, I'm gonna preach. Andrew, take over.
All right, I'll just very quickly mention where did it go? The whole, what I had just said. Where did it go? You've not lied to man, but to God. And I think that's something we have to keep in mind as well when we, if we are deceitful to somebody, we may kind of brush it off because maybe we don't respect that individual or whatever it is. And you might think, oh, it's okay because it's just this person. But in reality, there's this big grander person that you're also being deceitful to. And I think we just need to keep, take note of that and how we behave and what we say to people and things like that.
Yep.
So moving on, obedience. Write down one step of obedience you need to take today or this week based on what God is revealing to you.
For me, it's to stop and ask God to reveal any lies that are in my heart. any sin that is still there that would lead me to try to lie to the Holy Spirit, which, you know what? I'm not perfect, so I bet he's going to show me some stuff if I'm willing to actually ask and actually listen. It's a vulnerable place to be, but to me, that's it. Is my act of obedience is, and to be willing to receive the fullness of what He has for me, which sounds like a very churchy response, but it can be scary, because if you let God actually have control of your life, what can that look like? So ask Him to reveal any sin, get rid of it, and replace where that sin was with Himself.
Like it. I think for
Anything
me,
to add to that?
I think similar to what Brad says, it's kind of, that Christian cliche, check your heart. Like, what am I trying to put on airs, when I go to church? Am I trying to, or am I, and we all do it at times, like, oh, I didn't really care for the music this week or whatever, but you're like, it's not what it's about, and that, but you're like, I know, but I really kind of wish, I know what this song is all about, and you do that whole, rigmarole, right? Or you complain of like, oh man, you complain about, like, not the spirit of the event, but like the activities of the event, and that's not what it's about, and just making sure I don't do that.
Yep.
Basically, don't be a bad Christian. That's what I'm working on now.
I like that. We make t-shirts. Don't be a bad Christian. Andrew, are you frozen?
I see him moving his eyes.
I think so too.
I was.
Welcome back.
I just got back.
Well, welcome back. We're here with Andrew, and he's wrapping up the obedience part of this
All
morning.
right. So repentance. Write any confessions out that God reveals to you in this passage, and I'll also mention prayer. We don't typically spend time in prayer during this, but spend time thanking the Lord for all His blessings. Pray for anything or anyone He lays on your heart.
So I wrote mine down so that I didn't. I'm not going to it's not wordy, so don't worry. In terms of repentance, I wrote this: I repent and confess of trying to please two masters. I've held back to please myself instead of fully committing, and I confess it as sin and ask your forgiveness. That would be, that's that. And you can't serve two masters.
Good.
Anything to add, Lucas?
I think I'm good.
Well,
all right.
That's nice. Congratulations.
Well, that wraps up the SMORP. What are we going to do next, guys?
You know what, guys? We're getting close to the end, but before we do, and if you've been a long-time listener, you'll recognize this voice. Gone but never forgotten. Here we go with a sport and star stuff. Gotta love it. Thank you, Matt. He's collecting royalties on that every time we use it. So sports or star stuff, or sports and star stuff, is a very simple game where we are going to give, tonight it's me, I'm going to give the gentleman a term, and what they're going to do is, it's very much like Balderdash. I'm going to give a term, and they are going to give me their definition, and it's either going to be something related to sports or something related to space, star stuff. And what we'll do is we'll read all of the answers, including the correct one and another fake one that I'll provide. And then we'll see, these two gentlemen will vote on which one they think is correct. You're welcome to participate as well and let us know. And really, it's just for bragging rights. There's no trophy, but maybe we should make one. All right, gentlemen, are you ready?
Ready.
I'm ready.
So you guys can just text me. Make sure you don't use our group chat. That would be embarrassing. And the word before you is stinger. The word is stinger. And go. while you guys are doing that, I'm going to play Pocket Camp. Pocket Camp. Available now on iOS and Android.
Raid Shadow Legends, brought to you by.
Yeah. I just got a lucky tangerine gift for logging in.
Done. Nailed it.
Me too. I'm ready.
I nailed it better. I nailed it way better than you.
We'll find out.
All right, folks. Let me just get this over here.
I assume it wasn't the thing on the end of an insect or the surface-to-air missile that a shoulder launched. I assume it's something different, but we'll find out. Fire away.
All right, folks. Well, welcome back. I've enjoyed a lovely moment with Pocket Camp. Now on iOS. All right, so we've got the word. You're just a little boy, Brad. Thank you, Gloria. What are you referencing? All right, so
You're relatively clean shavenness, maybe.
Relatively clean shaven. Yeah, okay. So the word before you is stinger. Here come the definitions, folks. Stinger. Is it Is it from rugby? The furthest player back in the rugby scrum. Stinger. The furthest player back in the rugby scrum. Or stinger. From soccer. It's a goal scored within a minute of the previous goal. That's a stinger. I've never.
Can you say that in Spanish, and I'll see if it sounds real or not. El Stingerio.
Donde es? Where is the stinger?
Where is the stinger? Donde es Stingerio?
Stinger. Football. Another sport one. When a player is tackled in a way that squeezes a nerve. Stinger. A space term. The type of missile that was attached to the wings of the X-301 interceptor in Stargate SG-1. So just to refresh everyone's memory, we've got Stinger, which is the missile attached to the X-301 interceptor in Stargate SG-1, which is a spacecraft. We've got Stinger.
Oh, I know what an X-301 is, Brad.
I know you do. Or Stinger, is it the football, when someone's tackled in football and it squeezes a nerve? Is it the furthest player back in the rugby scrum, or is it when a goal is scored very quickly or a minute after the previous goal in soccer? Gentlemen, let me know what you think. How are you voting? Man, Lucas is so torn.
You go first, Lucas.
And if you're watching, let us know what you think.
I can't give my reasoning because then it'll give away stuff. I like the idea of the football. Ooh, I got a stingy, guys. I got a stingy. So I think it's not that. As far as the soccer one, maybe, especially soccer and rugby's tricky because they're weird, originally British sports. So they could be literally anything weird.
It's a stinger.
He's got the foos nozzle. He does. And I feel like
fusion shaft.
And I feel like the Stargate one could be one you're putting there just to mess with me and just to. I'm gonna go with the rugby one.
He's going with the rugby one, the furthest player back in the rugby scrum. And Andrew, what shall you be choosing?
I'm gonna go with the soccer one.
And you're going with the soccer one, the minute scored after the minute of soccer.
Yeah.
Well, Gentlemen, congratulations. You both chose your own.
We were really good, weren't we?
You guys were great. Come back next week when I tell you what it really was. So a stinger. Now that you both know that that's that, what do you think it is? You've both ruled out your own.
It's not the Stargate one, is it?
I'm asking you what you think it is now.
I think it's the Stargate one.
I See, I don't think it will be the Stargate one, but it sounds too stupid to be the other one. So I'm gonna have to go with Stargate one.
And it's the football one.
Ah!
Why is there a term for that?
Ow! I got a stingy.
So it's stinger, and it's when a player is tackled in such a way that it squeezes a nerve and can cause nerve damage. So and it stings.
I was kind of thinking of a scorpion. When someone wipes out so hard, their feet come back up over their head. You ever seen those compilations?
No.
It's pretty funny.
Lucas, just so that you're aware, the X-301 interceptor in Stargate was not armed with Stinger missiles. It was armed with AIM 120A air-to-air missiles.
Yes.
It's a common misconception. I can understand why you've done that. So Lucas, get us out of here.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for putting up with our sports and star stuff while I unlock my screen so I get my script right.
Just say goodbye.
You can follow our podcast on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, don't forget, and anywhere that matters online. Sorry, I lost my spot here. Oh, no, I don't know where I am. Oh, here we go.
Something.
We would love a 5-star rating on iTunes, and if you do,
we
leave us
deserve it?
one. We'll even read it on the air.
I don't know that we
Not only that,
it.
but you can send your questions to us at oxfordholyclub.com, browse our merch, and much more.
And folks, we don't pay to advertise. We don't pay for anything. So any support we get comes from you sharing us with others. Send us some money. Help Lucas get more books. Until next time, keep spiritually fit and have fun.